All right, and welcome to Understanding Judgments and Justice. We are going to be focusing on our essential questions for this unit. What happens as a result of someone's judgments, and what is justice? Today I'm going to be talking at you a lot. I apologize, but I'm going to go over the syllabus for history and for English. Because this is your humanities class, it counts for both. So we'll start with history standards. So how to earn credit. You all have a copy of this as well in front of you, but I just wanted to walk you through this. So this is our schedule for quarter 3. All of your in-class lessons are labeled over here, the activities, and the book chapters. You are getting another EPUB book. We also received some Kindles, so if you were not able to read it on your phone or your phone was too small, please see me and we'll get it on a Kindle for you. Each of the activities is worth 25 credits. For this unit, we're going to be focusing on academic discussion. Academic discussion is different than when you are just talking to your friends about something. It's a way to discuss things in an academic manner that makes sure that you're bringing in the knowledge we're getting from the classroom. You're able to challenge each other's ideas and add on to them. So for academic discussions, if you see in your Google Classroom, please don't ever go to the stream. The stream is always going to be crazy and unorganized. Try to always hit classwork. It should start there and not the stream, but so when you go through Google Classroom, you're going to see your academic discussions here. You have already, are they posted to you guys yet? No? Okay, let me post one. Edit. I'll send a due date later so you can see it. I'll cancel. Let's do this. Okay, I'll post one and I'll post the rest of them today, but they all should be posted. They're all there and I've all written them. You have your question already for the academic discussion. So I know a lot of people have anxiety around talking in front of other people. I understand. I'm giving you the question ahead of time. So this week when you read chapters 1 and 2, when we come back to class, it's going to be, your question's going to be, how did Stevenson's background prepare him for law school? You are going to get graded on 3 parts of the, or 4 parts of the academic discussion. Every time we have an academic discussion, you'll use this rubric. You'll be graded on 5 different categories. Before you come to the discussion, when you're reading this weekend, I highly recommend you have a copy of this. I can make extra paper copies for this. Take notes. So the only thing I would come prepared to the discussion with is this box right here. And it's not record what was said, you can say what you're going to say. So you have an idea of what Mr. Stevenson's background, what was part of his background that prepared him for law. Oh, his mother was a lawyer. So I'm going to use that as an example. So I would write some of your examples from the book here. So before you come to any discussion, try and fill this out with at least one of the boxes, because you don't know what everybody else is going to say. So obviously you can't paraphrase, you can't synthesize or build and challenge on that. But you can come with what you're prepared to say. And oftentimes when we come to discussions, we kind of freeze. So it's always good to take notes. So I can print more of these out for you or whatever is helpful. But this is going to be worth 1 credit. In order for you to do any of the extra credits, since this is the skill we're working on this for history, you need to complete 1 discussion. I get it, people don't like talking, I'm totally okay with that, but you need to complete 1 discussion because that's our academic goal as a class. And then you can do any extra credit. So the extra credit can count towards history or it can count towards English. It's your choice. And then your final project is going to be worth 1.25 credits for a total possible credits, if you take all the extra credit for history, for 4.25 credits. So going back here, your extra credit is listed down here. I'm going to post one right now so you can see it. I will not accept anything past March 9th. So this is a long unit. We have 12 weeks for this unit. See, there you go. So I will post all of your extra credit. So as you can see, the classroom's been built. It just hasn't posted to your particular section, but your final projects are also in here. And let's see. So we've gone over academic discussion, your final projects. Your final projects are already kind of decided. You have your choice. I heard when we did our last project that everybody kind of appreciated being able to do it on a person they wanted. So now I'm going to pick the topic, but you get to pick how you're going to show me you want to do it. You can do a podcast, and all of these will make sense more as we go through the unit, and I'll teach you how to use Soundtrap, which is the software we'll be using. It's a free software. You get it free through SFUSD, and it can edit a podcast. You're going to do a podcast. You can do 3 infographics if graphic design is your thing and art's your thing. You can do another Adobe Spark video. Maybe you really liked the last project. You found it easy to do, and that's what you want to do. Or you can do a letter writing campaign. The letter writing campaign, all of these you can do ahead of time. So if you wanted to go home this weekend and do your final project, you do not have to read the book to be able to do your final project. That being said, the letter writing campaign is due at the end of this month. It's a campaign with Amnesty International. If you were in this block last quarter, we had a speaker who was a student activist, and she told us about the letter writing campaign and how much it really influenced her, and she encouraged you guys to do that. So I wanted to give you the option. I know a lot of you really connected to her, so here's the option to do it, but it's due at the end of the month. So if you want to do that one, make sure I would check it out now. I'll post everything to Google Classroom by the end of this class, but I would check that out. I'm happy to answer any questions. That's the only thing that's due this month. The rest of the final projects won't be due to the end of the unit. You have 2 weeks worth of work days built out. I will tell you every week what is expected to be on target and to be at your own pace, but you can go as quickly through this or you can take your time. Do not wait for the last minute. That happened to some people with reading the book. That's why I have it spaced out chapter by chapter. Resources, the other part of your Google Classroom down here, and again it will be posted right now. First we have the book. So this is the same EPUB book that the same way we downloaded it last time. You're going to download it to your Google Drive. You can use the cloud reader we did last time. You can use your iPhones, Androids. It will load onto anything. If you don't have a device at home, please see me and we have some Kindles for you. This is also going to have Soundtrap. Again, this isn't posted right now. Author's notes, YouTube station with all the in-class videos I show. Equal Justice Initiative. This is the organization that Mr. Stevenson finds. So if we're doing a project and you need to research, is there a death penalty for children in California? It might be listed on one of those. So I'm going to keep putting things there that will help you in your research. Alrighty, so English standards. How to earn English. So instead of doing the writing, you guys did a great job with the writing last quarter. This is going to be content quizzes. So if you do not, whatever your quiz score is the amount of credit you'll get. So there are 8 quizzes total. If you get a 5 out of 5, that's 0.25 credits you just earned. If you get a 4 out of 5, that's 0.20. 3 out of 5, 0.15, 2 out of 5. So I'm doing this to check for reading. Are you reading? I am also giving you the questions ahead of time. So that's also printed in your packet. I would keep that packet with you. It's also a doc in Google Classroom for those of you who are not paper friendly. Totally fine. But this has every question exactly as it will appear on the quiz. That's why I'm counting your answers. If for some reason there's more than one answer in the book, which I read the book over break and there shouldn't be, let me know and I'm happy to redo your score. But everything's pretty upfront. So this is why I am counting your quiz the first time. You can only take it once. And whatever you get is the amount of credit you get because I'm giving you the answers up front. So think of this and the discussion questions as a study guide. Instead of just reading blindly, you're reading with the intention of knowing Brian Stevenson is a member of bar in which of these states? Okay, read these ahead of time. Read them, have them close to you, know what you're reading for when you're reading. So that is how you're earning some of your English credit. Where does that go? There we go. Okay. So that's your quizzes. So in total, your quizzes are worth 2.25 credits. So for those of you who are new to my class, if you don't do your work, you don't get credit. There's no credit given for showing up. If you want to do extra credit, there are a couple people in this class who earned 6 credits of English last quarter. So they earned over a year's worth of English because they did a lot of work. It was a lot of writing. So this semester, I'm going a little easier. And it's quizzes. There's going to be a PreWrite essay, which you're going to do today. And there's a final essay, which is worth 100 or 1 credit. So total for English, 3.75, or if you use your extra credit, it can be 4.75. So that's how many credits you can earn in English this quarter. You may only take the test once, and you are not allowed to do the final essay because the final essay should be kind of based on your reading unless you get 60% or better on 5 of your quizzes. Again, you have the questions ahead of time. Please use those. So the book we're reading is Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. Also happens to be a movie that will get released this Monday, and we're trying to take you to the movie theaters.
The first time I visited death row, I wasn't expecting to meet somebody the same age as me. From a neighborhood just like ours. Could have been me, Mom. Look, what you're doing is going to make a lot of people upset. You always taught me to fight for the people who need help the most. Your life is still meaningful, and I'm going to do everything possible to keep them from taking it. You ain't know what you into down here downtown. You be guilty from the moment you're born. God, Mr. McMillan, we done here. Mr. McMillan, please.
I was just about to give up when I got a call from a Harvard lawyer looking to start a legal center for inmates on death row. I was in before he even offered me the job. You a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for driving all the way out here. Most lawyers barely make time to call.
I can't believe you talked to all my people to say you're going to fight for me. I did. I mean, a lot. You know, Danny and those ones, they're going to be making a lot of people very unhappy. When people care about the fight that much, they'll do anything to get what they want.
When I first learned about all this, it was like looking at a river full of drowning people, not having any way of helping them.
You ain't quit this. No, sir. Each of us is more than the worst thing that we've ever done. I know what it's like to be in the shadows. It's not that. You did nothing wrong. It's never too late for justice. You're the only one kid enough to fight for me. If we can look at ourselves closely, we can change this world for the better. We all need grace. We all need mercy. I got my true back. You can't have it, me. Ain't nobody gonna take that from us.
It says December, but they pulled it for the holidays. And now I think it'll only be here for 2 weeks. So we're trying to get tickets. I should know by tomorrow, and it would probably be next week because it's only out for 2 weeks. So we're trying to take you guys to go see the movie. If not, we'll figure out a way maybe to see it in class. But that's the book we're going to be reading. It's a really amazing book. He does a wonderful job of telling somebody's story while also giving you historical background on it. Like, I think you meet one of the inmates that is mentally ill. So not only does he tell you her story, but he also tells you that during the 1970s, there was a lot of laws passed that closed down mentally ill facilities. So it created this whole group of people who had nowhere else to go because they were saying treatment in mental facilities was cruel and unusual. So a lot of those people ended up in incarceration. So it's going to give you a lot of knowledge about, it's a thick book, but it's going to give you a lot of knowledge about the why. Okay, this person's incarcerated. That's great. She shouldn't be there, but why is she there? It's going to tell you about the policies. So when you're reading this, pay attention to the policies. What's going on in America that's letting this happen? And what's due this week? So you're going to have a pre-assessment quiz. That's a 2-part quiz. The first part is graded, and it just gives me an idea of how much you know about some of the vocabulary and historical knowledge going into this. We'll take the same exact quiz at the end just to see how much you grew. The second half is optional. The second half is just giving me an idea of how familiar we are with this. Do you have somebody in your family that's a lawyer, somebody that's been arrested? Have you been in a trial? So when we talk about these issues, we have the sensitivity to be aware of who's in the classroom. Nobody's going to follow up with you. It's completely just for me to get an idea of the language we're using in this classroom and to be really mindful of who's in the classroom. But If you don't want, if you're not comfortable sharing that, you don't have to. Also, having said that, be sensitive to that. You don't know whose family is affected by this issue. And freedom is all of our issues, whether if it's being free to live in a clean environment, being free to choose your own education. Freedom is an issue that's important to all of us. So we have and then we have a PreWrite essay. Your PreWrite essay is, you'll have all of tomorrow to do this, and we'll do an activity tomorrow. So like I said, I was going to talk for most of the period, and I apologize, but I just want to get you set. So for your PreWrite, you're going to imagine that you have just graduated from law school, the law school of your choice. You're applying to work at legal aid. For those of you who don't know what legal aid is, when you can't afford an attorney is appointed to you. You've heard that. Legal aid are the people who are paid by the government to represent people who cannot afford their own attorney, or they're often nonprofit groups. You're going to tell them about your background, what makes your experience and why you would be a good fit for legal aid. If you do not think you're going to be a lawyer and you can't think of anything in your own personal life to speak to your experiences and why helping disadvantaged people would be good for you, make it up. I'm okay with that. I won't know the difference. I just want you to write. So you're going to tell them why you want to work with disadvantaged poor people. What about your background makes you more sensitive to that? Why do you care about that? And you're going to include one of the quotes below. Each one of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. We treat people better if they're rich and guilty than poor and innocent. The opposite of poverty is not wealth, it's justice. So again, think of that person who just graduated from law school, whether it's your future self or somebody you're making up. How could they use one of those quotes for their application? And it can be in a letter form. Dear so-and-so, you can make up the legal form, you can make up the person's name. Please accept my application for the position of attorney. This is why I would make a great attorney and care about these issues. Again, does not have to be real. That's going to be due today. And in Google Classroom, and I hope this is posted. It should be posted. It looked like it was posted. Your pre-assessment. So this is just, like I said, a quick quiz on Google Forms. And that's it. Any questions on your syllabus? I know it's a lot to give you up front. We've went over final projects. I'll give you more information on the final projects, but just wanted to make sure. Questions?
Wait, what was the code for the
Class.